All right, so once you have your information entered, what you can then do is just highlight it and choose Insert. I know it seems odd. You'd think you'd go to Data because we're working with data, but you go to Insert and you choose Charts. Okay, and just pick the Scatterplot. Okay, so does everybody follow that process? I'm going to go through it again. Okay, so highlight your data, just the data. Don't highlight empty cells. Okay, go to Insert, choose Charts, and then select Scatterplot, and just pick the one with just the points. Okay, and what that's going to do is it sets up your viewing window automatically for you, and you see your graph. And so there's the advantage. It's easier to enter the data. It's easier. The viewing window takes care of itself. And the harder part is evaluating it once you get the answer. So if all you need to do is find the equation, this is a very quick and easy way to do it. Okay, to find the equation for the line of best fit, what you're going to do is right-click on one of the points. When you right-click on one of the points, it gives you the option to add the trend line. So the Excel calls the line of best fit your trend line. So if we hit Add Trend Line, we then choose, just like we did when we picked the calculation type with the data, we can either go an exponential, linear, logarithmic, polynomial, which is what we'll choose when we do quadratic or cubic functions, a power function. Okay, so the default should be linear, so we're going to leave it at linear. Okay, and then notice down here, before you hit close, come down here and notice a couple things. It says display the equation on the chart. Okay, so click on that box. That way the equation actually shows up. Okay, now when you hit close, it'll show you. Here's your equation right here. Okay, so notice on this how this differs slightly from the equation I wrote here. Okay, if, let's say I asked you to round it to 5 decimals, and the Excel only displays the 4 of these, and you can go in here and you can highlight this information. So if you highlight this whole graph and you choose Format, oops, I'm going to right click on it instead. So if you highlight the information and you right click on that, you should be able to, where it says Format, the trend line label, you can go in and you can change how far or how many decimals you want to see. So if you click on Number and choose decimal places, and let's say I wanted 5, right? You can click on 5 and then close it, and now it gives you your answer to 5 decimals. So then you could enter it depending, again, on what I asked you to do. You can find the designated number. All right, the last thing would be, how do you evaluate this? And so this is where it's a little bit more difficult to evaluate it. It's easier to find this because it's easier to manipulate the data on the spreadsheet than it is on your calculator. Okay, but once you get this equation, if you needed to go back in and find what is the y value when x is 34, and or evaluate it at 2014, the process that you will need to use on that is make sure that you extend your equation to more decimals than what it's asking you to round it to. So if it asks you to round it to the nearest tenth, and you round your answer to the nearest tenth, make sure that you go in and you have 3 or 4 decimal places. The more decimal places you have, the more accurate your answer is going to be. So 5 or 6 is probably okay. So I would definitely make sure I change this to 5 or 6. Okay? And if you just highlight the equation part of it, okay, so the expression, not the y equals, but everything other than the y equals, and just copy it. So highlight, hit Control-C to copy. What you can then do is you can just place this directly into a cell. And so if I place that directly into a cell, as long as you have an equal sign at the front of your cell, the spreadsheet will calculate that data. So notice I entered it in the cell, and then I went to the front of that cell, and I hit equals. And then all I need to do is go back in here where it says X. We want to change this to 14,000. And then hit Enter. And so there's my answer, 186.1733.